Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be exploring the differences between two of the world's most iconic single cut guitars. Let's kick things off with the Les Paul. Now, originally released in 1952, it's got a ton of history behind it and has become an icon in a bunch of different genres of music. But we've got a mahogany body, a flame maple top, two humbucking pickups, a volume and a tone for each pickup, and a three-way switch. The neck is mahogany, mated up with a rosewood fingerboard. All right, let's hop over to the Gretsch. Now this is the Duo Jet, and the Jet was first introduced in 1955, so a couple of years after the Les Paul. Construction is very similar, so mahogany body, maple top, mahogany neck, and this one has an ebony fingerboard, which is very beautiful and very cool. The electronics-wise, it's quite a bit different than a Les Paul. So you've got a volume for your neck pickup, a volume for your bridge pickup, and a master volume. So there's no tone control, but there is a tone toggle, so that's very cool. When it's in the up position, it mimics rolling off your tone pot to about half, and when it's in the down position, it's completely rolled off. And in the middle, it's bypassed. Okay, and then the other toggle is your three-way switch for selecting your pickups. I should also mention the bridge is very unique on the Gretsch as well. So it's a floating bridge made out of ebony, and the saddles themselves are something called space control. So it's on a threaded rod, and you can kind of just move the saddles back and forth and narrow or widen them depending on your preference. So that's pretty cool. Now the designs also differ on the headstock side of the guitar. The Gretsch headstock is obviously quite a bit longer, but the tilt back is not as severe. It's about 14 or 15 degrees, I think, and the Gibson is 17. So you can sort of see as the Gibson comes back, it just tilts back that way a little bit more than the Gretsch, but the Gretsch is longer overall. I should also mention on the Duo Jet, the headstock is not quite as wide as the Les Paul as well, which means as your strings come through the nut, they don't get pulled to the side quite as much. So in theory, that should be better for tuning stability. All right, you guys, now that we've met our guitars, let's jump straight into our tone comparison. We are going to be starting in the neck pickup with a bluesy riff. I'm going to splice some clips back to back so you guys can really hear the differences. Let's check it out. So after listening to the neck pickup comparison, I think we can safely say the Gretsch definitely has a little bit more brightness and twang, and the Les Paul has a little bit more overall roundness and fullness. So yeah, that's interesting. Now what we're going to do is throw caution to the wind, and we are going to slam our bridge pickups with some really, really heavy gain and do some riffing for you guys. Now this Gretsch has the TV Jones Patron pickups, which are found in the Gretsch Power Jets and Gretsch Firebirds. So they're hotter TV Jones, so it'll be interesting to see how they handle a bunch of gain. Let's check it out. Now that really did surprise me. I thought the Gretsch sounded great with all that gain. It was a little surprising because I'm not sure what to expect, but I thought it compared favorably to the Les Paul. And of course, playing a Les Paul with high gain is just another day in the office for a Les Paul. All right, for our next comparison, we're gonna jump to the middle position, which is both pickups engaged, and we're gonna play a little country / rockabilly something something. Now playing that style of guitar, I think it definitely favors the Gretsch. It was more balanced overall. I think on the Les Paul it was serviceable, but the lows were a little bit too low and the highs were a little bit maybe too brash, which can sometimes happen with the Les Paul. So I think for that style of play, Gretsch wins that one. Okay, so now let's try a little bit of an informal sustain test. Will this tailpiece with the floating bridge and the space control saddles and the TV Jones pickups kill all the sustain on a guitar like this versus Les Paul, which is known to have awesome sustain? Well, let's find out. Well, that was interesting. The Gretsch certainly sustained just as long as the Les Paul, which was pretty cool. I wasn't sure what to expect. The Les Paul definitely has a smoothness and a higher output, which really helps with those lead tones. It gives you that classic Les Paul sound. So I think there was a difference in the frequencies between the guitars, but in terms of sustain, no problem. Both were great. All right, let's bang out some basic arpeggios in each one of the pickup positions. A test like this really reveals the tonal difference between each guitar. Take a listen. Now let's throw both of these guitars into a mix. We're going to play some classic rock for you guys. Both Gretsch and Gibson should have no problems covering this genre. Each guitar is going to have a minute to solo. Let's check it out. So some final thoughts on these two iconic instruments. Well, the Les Paul certainly earns its reputation as a full body, smooth, high output sound. Sounds awesome with overdrive and higher gain. The Gretsch is a little bit lighter. This is a non-weight relieved traditional, so if you had a weight relieved Les Paul, it probably would be about the same weight as the Gretsch. But yeah, the Gretsch is made in Japan. This one's made in the US. Construction-wise, I think I'd have to give the nod to the Gretsch. There's not a flaw on this instrument. And as with most American Gibsons, there's flaws to be found, and that's just the nature of, you know, buying a Gibson. So yeah, construction-wise goes to the Gretsch. Sound-wise is just, you know, what you prefer. I think the cleans are a lot nicer on the Gretsch. So if you play with low gain and clean, I think, yeah, you'd give the nod to the Gretsch again, but it can hang with the big boys on the bridge pickup. And if you like that really smooth, sustainy, high output, round, just creamy tone, Les Paul can't be beat. So yeah, different guitars, and yeah, so much fun to play. Thanks so much for tuning in, you guys. If you enjoy comparisons like this, be sure to subscribe to the channel by clicking my face here, and the rest of my information will be on the screen right now. Have an awesome day, you guys. We'll see you next week with a new video. Take care.